and I am here with 5 ingredients or less family meals to celebrate Family Meals Month this September. So I love both of these recipes because they are quick and, like I said, they are minimal ingredient. So I'm going to talk about how we could take ingredients that have a lot of flavor to put meals together with those 5 ingredients or less. So the first dish I'm making, what I'm chopping up right now, is some chicken sausage, which is already cooked, and this one had no casing on it, so it's easier to chop. And this is for a chicken sausage and pesto manicotti. So the reason I'm chopping it up so finely is because it's going to go into our filling that we're going to stuff the manicotti noodles with. So we want to just make sure that it's tiny so it's easier to fill. And we are just going to brown those up in our frying pan. All right. And I love chicken sausage as a base ingredient because there's so much flavor in there, peppers, onions, garlic. So instead of you having to add that into the dish, it's already in there for you. So it makes for a really great protein, especially when you are looking for a quick dinner, because you've got all your seasonings in there. We're also going to add even more seasoning with this pesto sauce. So another ingredient that's got garlic, cheese, basil, oil. You've got all of those good flavorings, good textures going in there. And so I'm going to add about 3/4 of the jar right into the chicken sausage and give that a toss. And we're really, like I said, just browning this, just warming it through. So when we're thinking about recipes that we want that are going to be quick, or in the case of both of the recipes I'm going to show you today, both make ahead and freezable, it's really good to just have those ingredients that are doing double duty. And just as an FYI, anytime you're making something with filling and then putting it in the oven, you just want to make sure you're not putting something in super duper hot, because then it's just going to explode, which we don't want. Okay, so let's prep our casserole dish for once our filling is ready. So I have some of the pasta water that I reserved from cooking the noodles. And so I'm going to take that, I'm going to add the rest of, I'm actually going to do it the reverse way. Watch this. So I'm going to add some of this pasta sauce into my pesto jar. I'm going to take that spoon out. This is a great way to not waste. We're going to shake it up. And that is going to be our sauce that we put on the bottom of our pan. Ta-da! So that's a great way with the pasta water that you've got that starchy flavor. With your little bit of extra sauce, we are good to go. All right, so I'm going to shut this off. And we are going to get to finishing this up. Like I said, it's super easy. We are going to take roughly 16 ounces or so of the ricotta cheese. Whoops. And we're going to mix that right into the filling. What I like about this is the cold cheese is going to cool down the warm pesto sauce and chicken sausage, which is going to make it easier to fill. Now, I'll be honest with you, when I was making this yesterday, I attempted to be super fancy and put this in a Ziploc bag to pipe it into the manicotti noodles. Needless to say, it did not go well. I don't know what it is, but me and piping bags just do not get along. Even the homemade ones, it just doesn't work for me. So my recommendation is just take a tiny spoon. These noodles are wide enough that it's very easy to just take your little spoon and fill them this way. So you just take it, and this is a really fun one for the kids to do. And like I said, this is why it's important that you make sure to cut those chicken sausage pieces up small, because it makes it a lot easier, especially if you're filling it this way. So you just go in one end. You do want to make sure it's nice and full, because that's where all of our flavor is coming from. And you're just going to fill those noodles up. And then you're going to lay them across on your casserole dish. Then dollop it with a couple of extra dollops of ricotta cheese, and then cook it at 450 degrees for about 25 minutes. Top it off with some basil, and you have this beautiful dish that was 4 ingredients. We leveraged a lot of flavor in that pesto sauce. We leveraged a lot of flavor in the chicken sausage. You have all of your components to a healthy meal. And like I said, this is very good to be a freezer-friendly dish. So you could definitely wrap it up and then have it for dinner another night of the week. So now let's talk about our 5-ingredient enchilada soup. So I'm gonna move this guy out of the way, get our soup pot. You can do this in a slow cooker or a pressure cooker, totally up to you. But you could also do it in a soup pot, either way. So this one's 5 ingredients instead of 4, but yet again, we are going to be leveraging some really heavy hitters in the flavor department, mainly this enchilada sauce. So this is going to be the really big push for flavor in our soup, kind of using that as well as our chicken stock as a base, some canned tomatoes and some onion as our vegetables. So I have some red onion cut up. I don't know why, but for me, anytime that I make a sort of Southwestern inspired dish, I like to use red onion, but you can use whatever onion you want. And I am just going to saute those up, get them going a little bit. Now, depending on what you have at home in your pantry, and when you're thinking about family meals and you find these simple recipes, you can always add more ingredients if you have it in your house. I just always like to think first of those lower ingredient dishes, keep it simple, and then if you want to add more in, you can. So for example, if you have a taco seasoning and you want to amp up that flavor, then perhaps you're going to flavor your chicken with that, but we're just going to poach it in the enchilada liquid, and we have that onion, so we do have plenty of flavor to keep it simple. It is completely up to you. You could, at this stage, put the taco seasoning on if you want to, but I am just going to put that chicken, make sure it's hitting the bottom, and nestle it in amongst the onions, and we are going to sear it on in there. So once the chicken sears on both sides, then you are going to add your liquids. You're going to add this can of enchilada sauce, half a can of the tomatoes, or if you get a smaller can, and then top it off with however much broth you want. For it to be more soupy, for it to be less soupy, completely up to you. And then you get this beautiful pulled chicken in here. You could see, I'm gonna use my hands. You can see you get this nice broken up chicken. It's super flavorful from both the onions, but especially from that enchilada sauce. So what a fun way to kind of utilize an ingredient that has all of this flavor in there, but that you didn't have to add all of those seasonings to. And then this is a really fun one. You could top it off with some cilantro, some avocado. I have a little bit of sour cream here that we can use. My spoon. You could do tortilla strips. Sometimes with these dishes, the fun is in how you top it. And again, another really easy one to make extra of, freeze, and then have for dinner on different nights. So 5 ingredients or less, there you go for Family Meals Month. Hopefully these are easy solutions. Make sure to check out ShopRite.com/welleveryday for even more meal solutions this Family Meals Month and all year long.